Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, here to give you the quick tea and luxury makeup, but prepare to sip slow because I got a lot to talk about. And today we are back again with Prada. Yes, this video we are going to conclude the Prada trilogy. If you've been following me, then you would know that a couple of days ago I did a whole review of the Prada eyeshadows, in particular the Color Story number 2 Perfusion. That's the one with the yellow pop of color in there. And then about like 2 weeks ago, I did a review of the foundation. And in that review, I also featured a hyper matte lipstick, and it's in the shade Ultraviolet, the deep purple one. Clearly I loved it because then I went ahead and bought 2 more hyper mattes. Yes, and if you were watching my eyeshadow review, then you would already saw that I sneak peeked those in Mahogany and Nutte shade. And then guess what? I got another one in the soft matte formula, and it's actually the one that's on my lips now, and it's in the shade Tonka. So yeah, you got that right. I have four Prada lipsticks, 3 hyper mattes and 1 soft matte. So now, now that I have all of these, I can give you the tea on both formulation and how they compare and what I think of just the brand in general when it comes to lipsticks. Now, I actually, a couple of days ago, on camera, I did actually do lip swatches already. I was trying the Tonka for the first time, this one on camera for the first time. So when you're seeing it, it was my first time actually putting it on my lips and seeing the shade on my lips. But yeah, I put all 4 shades on my lips, all 4 shades on my forearm, and I did some lipstick comparison to some lipsticks that are in my collection currently from other brands that I thought maybe the shades were would be comparable. So I did all that for you. But I waited to do my review till now just because, number one, when I was done doing all the lipstick looks, the last lipstick that I wore was the Deep Purple Ultraviolet. And I was just feeling myself, and I decided to keep that purple one on. But I didn't want to then give you my review off of just one, swatch of the soft matte, because I wanted to be able to give you a good review of the 2. So off camera, I went to work yesterday. I wore this lipstick all day yesterday, and then I've had this on today for, I would say, about 3 hours. So now having, day and a half of wearing, between these 3 days wearing this lipstick, now I feel like I have enough sense of the 2 lipstick that I can give you a good opinion about the 2. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch my past self do, like I said, lipstick forearm swatches, lipstick comparison. Then you're going to come back to my present self, and then I will give you the real tea on the lipstick. So see you in a minute. All right, so I'm super excited to swatch all 4 of my Prada lipsticks together, especially 3 of them, the hyper matte. I've worn them already. I'm quite familiar with them, but I'm also going to be trying a soft matte formulation, and this one is new to me. So I'm actually going to be trying it together with you live on camera for the first time. So you'll see my true first impressions of it. I got in the shade Tonka. This is B105. So I'm gonna straight take it out the box. Now I will tell you, I did swatch this already on my arm. So I know what the color is, but I have not actually done it on my lips. I'll be looking over to the viewfinder as I apply it to my lips. So we'll do it together. I'll do an arm swatch. But yeah, let's see how this color looks. I figure since this is the lightest, both in formulation and color, we'll start with this, and then we'll get to the deeper hyper matte. So, all right, the beautiful silver packaging. Taking off the magnetic cover. There is the lipstick. Hope you can appreciate the Prada written on there, but I'm gonna lower it down so we don't. So I'm gonna get closer, all right? And sorry if it goes in and out of focus. I'll try to stay in one place so it stays in focus. And let's put this on the lips. I have a clear Dior lip balm on just because Harshi going through these 4 lipsticks I'm about to go through with you, actually them being mattes, you know, I need to moisturize my lips in between. Oh, this is gorgeous. So it's like, I guess like a mauve nude, little berry, little mauve. Yeah, like a mauve nude. It feels fabulous. Yay! Oh, I love this shade. Ooh, beautiful. So yeah, like I said, with this formulation, you're getting first impressions, where I'll have some real, I'll be able to tell you even more about the other 3 shades, but all right. Okay, beautiful. Let me do an arm swatch, a live arm swatch, so you can see what it looks like in person, in natural lighting. I'll post some demo videos so you can see it in other lighting, but gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love it. All right, but let me show you the 3 hyper mattes. Here we go. Okay, so I took off the beautiful Tonka shade. So now we're moving on to the hyper matte lipsticks. And now you're gonna see with these next 3, I hope you can appreciate, instead of it being all silver, the band here is gold where it says Prada. So that's how you distinguish between the 2 formulations, okay? So this shade, B03 Mahogany, so this is more of like a warm brown, like a chestnutty kind of color. So, so I will apply this on the lips. Look at that. Like I said, these 3 that you're going to be seeing me now, these ones I'm quite familiar with, so there's no surprises to me as I'm doing this. And here is Mahogany next to Tonka, so you can see how Tonka is, and I hope the lighting is okay. Today's a cloudy day today, but so this is a mauve shade, this is a brown shade, and I don't know if you can appreciate, you know, this is a little bit more sheer, where this is a little bit more pigmented in terms of the 2 different formulations. All right, gonna wipe this off. We're gonna go boom, 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 go through all 4 on the lips. I'll do all 4 of the swatches, and then we'll add a couple of lip comparisons. Be right back. Okay, next shade is Notte. It is, gotta look at the box just to make sure, P56. Okay. Once again, silver and gold packaging. So this is more of like a berry red. I think all of them are gorgeous shades. So there we go. So these are kind of reds that I like. I love this kind of shade of red on me. It's alright if I'm kind of going outside the lines and I'm having to wipe in between, so I'm not necessarily trying to have perfection on the lips, but I just want you to see the shade. So that is Notte. Beautiful, and let's do a swatch on the arm. Alright. And we got one more, Ultraviolet. Be right back. All right, the last shade, which is actually the first lipstick that I bought and is the most unique. It's P57 Ultraviolet. This shade is a purple, so a deep purple shade. This is the most unique. You know, of course I had to start with the most unique out of the bunch in terms of purchasing. I know probably not many people, I don't know, but you know, I'm sure most people have bought more of the reds and the nudes. Of course, I started with a deep purple. But I hope I can be a resource, because especially if it's not necessarily the most popular shade, then for the people who are like-minded like me, and who love a deep purple, you do have a reference point. Sorry, like I said, I've been wiping in between lipsticks, but this is the shade. Oh, good. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. How gorgeous. It's a look. It is a look. So that's that one. I'm just gonna roll it down a little bit. Okay. And let us live swatch that. So these are my 4 shades. I love all 4 shades. They are gorgeous. Oh my goodness, I'm actually liking this. Maybe I was gonna stick with this shade, but I might stick with this for right now. So, loving it. Love all 4 lipstick shades. So, I do have, you know, especially I was very, you know, I'm used to the 3 hyper matte shades. And believe it or not, these are kind of shades I kind of go for anyway. So I pulled out a couple of lipsticks that I figured might be potential dupes or similar shade that I, even just for myself, I wanted to compare to, but might be helpful for you as you're trying to pick shades. Do you already own these shades? Do you need it? How different or similar are they? So I'm gonna do a couple of lipstick comparisons for the 3 hyper mattes. I didn't pull one out just yet of this one, but maybe I will. Let me, I had all these 3 already in mind. I'll see if I have something to compare this one, but let's start with the hyper matte. So you know what, let's work our way backwards. So let me bring up my one comparison for the ultraviolet. Okay, so like I said, I'm somebody who appreciates a good purple makeup, whether it be lipstick, blush, eyeshadow. I love purple. So I actually do own a purple lipstick that I think will be comparable to this. This is from the brand Gucci, who I also love their matte formula, and it is in the shade Tony Purple. So I'm gonna swatch just underneath the, I'm gonna just roll it down a little bit. I don't want these to break because they can break. So I'm gonna do it right underneath, okay? So let's see how they compare. Oh, okay, good. Like I said, this is actually my first time doing these swatch comparisons. So these are like my first reaction. So, okay. So as you can see with the Gucci, it's much more deeper compared to the Prada, and the Prada is just a little bit more purple. Where this is it's purple, but like more wine deep purple, and this is more straight purple. So I'm actually, obviously I'm happy to see that there is some differences between the two. You know, I was worried about, you know, how many purple lipsticks does a girl need, but I do appreciate having 2 different types of purple. So, all right. What I am gonna do though, now I'm gonna swipe away the purple, and then I'll bring out my comparisons for the red. Okay, right, so now we are gonna do some shade comparisons for the shade Notte. So I brought out 2 red lipsticks, 2 red lipsticks that I love. We'll see, I don't know if they're good enough comparisons, but let's just do it together. So it probably has been my #1 favorite matte lipstick formula, and it is Lisa Eldridge. So I thought I would bring up Velvet Myth. So that's my red lipstick that I own from this brand. Yeah, because my top, you know, prior to Prada, my top 2 lipstick, matte lipstick brands, I do feel have been Lisa and Gucci. So let's see how this color compares. I don't know. I'm trying this for the first time. Okay. But I think in comparison, the Lisa Eldridge is a little bit more, I want to say a strawberry red, but not as deep of a berry compared to the Prada. And I know Lisa has a lot more red lipsticks. This is just the only one that I own in red. I tend to buy a lot more neutral shades from her. So I also want to compare to one Chanel lipstick. Chanel is great for red lipsticks, but one of my favorites is this one called Repoussé. It came out last year, and it was one of my absolute favorite from Chanel, and it's the Rouge Allure Velvet, so their matte formula. And I feel this, I think, has a berry tone to it. You know, it's a red, but it has a little pink to it, a little red. So let's just see. I don't know. Like you see, yeah, and it's totally different too. Like I said, it has a little bit pink to it. So still unique from the Prada. So I'm happy I don't have repeats. So they're all red, but as we know, not all reds are the same. All right, now let's do some comparison for the brown Mahogany lipstick. Now let's do some lipstick comparison for the shade Mahogany. Sticking with Chanel, this is a lipstick I love from Chanel that I think is no longer available. I don't even think they make this specific formula anymore, which is a shame. Because actually I think this was one of their best lipstick, particularly for mattes. You know, I'm going to have a whole other video. I've been promising, I promised months ago that I would come up with a Chanel lipstick video, and I will eventually do that. Because I think this was a great matte formula for them, and I think I don't think it's available anymore. So I even feel bad even showing this, but I still want to compare it, even just for myself. So this is in the formula Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme, and it's in the shade Chestnut. And it was like all black, very, you know, so it had the same pop-up action that we're used to, but like all the current ones tend to have a gold top. And this one actually was in all black, so that was actually kind of cool, and with the white CCs at the top. So even just the color story was different. So let's see how these two compare. Okay, you know, same family, of course, but they're not exactly the same. So once again, I don't have to feel bad. And even if I do, I still got a decent amount left of the lipstick, but this seems to be unavailable anymore. So, you know, I was going to need a brown in this kind of family anyway. So this is, but if you do own Chanel Chestnut, there's your comparison. I got two more to compare to. So let's go through all the comparisons first. So next, I'm bringing out Pat McGrath. So I have to say, you know, Pat McGrath has a special place in my heart. If you know me, I love Pat McGrath. It's actually one of my absolute favorite brands. And I remember trying Pat McGrath her lipstick for the first time. And I was blown away because it was my first time. It might have been my first time having a true matte lipstick, but certainly of this caliber. First time having lipstick, I feel like, of this color nature. Now I know, like, you know, since then, newer brands have come out, you know, that have, yeah, I mean, at this point probably have surpassed her. You know, the Lisa Eldridge and the Gucci have surpassed her. But this has a special place in my heart. Now, this wasn't the original packaging. It was in all black. But I owned so many Pat McGrath lipsticks that to help me, even for myself, distinguish and have fun, I started mixing and matching the tops and the bottom. So if you were to buy this shade, which is Flesh 3, 109, it would be all black. I just, you know, I have to have fun. So, so this shade has a special place in my heart. Maybe I should be decluttering, but I don't know. I don't know if I can declutter just for the emotional attachment. Yeah, this one still is actually still a little bit more, I don't know, orangier, rosier compared to the other two. So far nothing is exactly the same. And I got one more to compare to. Hold on one second. I'm back. The next one I'm going to bring out is from the brand Uma Beauty. I will tell you, especially prior to this year, I would have told you, and we'll see if my top three changes or not, but I would tell you that my top three was Lisa Eldridge, Gucci, and Uma Beauty for my top three matte lipstick formulas. You know, Pat might have been number 5 or something, but top three was these three. Unfortunately, I believe, I don't know what's going on with Uma Beauty. I think they're being bought out. I don't know, like, what's going to happen with this brand. Are they going to be who they still are? Are their products going to be still available? Is the formula going to change due to takeover? I don't know. But anyway, because if they change it, it's a shame because they didn't get the love that they should have. They have luxury level matte lipstick formula, and I don't feel like they got the love that they should have. But anyway, this is in the shade Tracy. So traditionally an all white cast, but then red with the badass on the inner bullet. All right, so let's just trying to, want to make sure I don't pull these bullets up too high so none of these breaks. I haven't had I've gotten broken ones from Gucci and I think maybe Lisa. Okay, this is still different. Yeah. I don't know. I was trying my best to try to think of what would be similar in my collection. So I'm happy to see that they're all different. Yeah, I mean, maybe the closest would have been the Chanel, but it's discontinued anyway, so it makes me feel better. It would be, like, to be honest, these three shades are so old anyway. Lipsticks anyway. So I'm happy to have a new lipstick in this family. So, nice. Okay, for the Tonka shade, I had to think actually really hard. I don't think I really have a shade like this in my collection, which I'm really surprised about. Like, I have a purple. You know, I guess I do a lot of browns. I have every version of brown, cool, warm, neutral. You know, I have all my signature reds. I have some really pinky nudes, I guess, a few of those, some oranges. I mean, mauve, I mean, obviously I should have mauve, but I don't know. I just felt like there's something unique about the shade that it was hard for me to think what in my collection could be similar. I pulled out two lipsticks. They're probably not it, but it was the closest I could think of. So I'm actually going to pull out Charlotte Tilbury. I have to say, I'm not really a Charlotte Tilbury girl. The only thing that I buy consistently from her is her setting spray. That I will not, I haven't tried anybody else since I've tried her setting spray. But I actually own one lipstick from her, and it is the Pillow Talk Intense. As we know, Pillow Talk in general is not for girls of my skin tone, but she did come out with this Intense, and this is a beautiful shade. So let's see how, okay, actually, they're not the exact same, but this was a good choice for a close dupe. And I figured also even just color-wise, formula-wise, I think they're kind of similar. So, yeah, they're actually, and this is a beautiful shade for, you know, beautiful nude, easy that, you know, I always love to wear lip liners with all my lipsticks, but you can, if you're a girl of my undertone, like you can pull this off even like without a lip liner. So it's actually a really beautiful shade. Back to Chanel, you know, I had to do this. This was my absolute favorite from fall of 2022. Oh, one of my absolute favorites. This is Intendu, number 199. This is in, it's not a matte formula. This is the Rouge Allure. Neither the two that I'm going to compare to are matte formulas, but you know, this Prada formula is a soft matte, so I figure, and anyway, I'm focused on colors that are similar. So yeah, you know, these are my kind of mauve-y nudes. So I think those are, they're not the same, but those are other similar ones, you know, that are in that same family. So, okay. I think I came up with a couple of good choices of some potential dupes. So, but I'm happy, at least for me, that nothing was exactly the same. So in my head, I can excuse my purchase, of course, because, you know, girl math. All right, so that concludes our lip swatching section. And next, I'll give you my final thoughts of both formulas and of all four shades. All right, I hope you found all those swatches helpful for you. You know, and I just thought of one more lipstick that would be good for comparison with this Tonka shade that I want to share with you. So let's do this together. It's actually a Pat McGrath lipstick. Now this is a satin formula, so they're not going to compare in terms of you know, formulation, but I thought maybe the colors might be comparable. So another one in case you have in your collection when you're deciding, do you need this, do you not, that kind of thing. So coming back to the Tonka, which is on my lips. I'll just do it here. Obviously, it's not going to be a good swatch. I should use my forearm, but I don't feel like pulling up my sleeve right now just for this one shade. And then this is the shade Night Kiss for the Pat McGrath, so I'm going to put it just under. So the Pat McGrath is a little bit more brown, and the Prada is a little bit more pinkier, more of a blush. So, you know, giving similar vibes, but they're not exact dupes in terms of color, but in the same family, I feel. And certainly totally two different formulations. So, you know, you don't have to feel bad in the sense that they're two different formulations. But I just want to throw that out there because I was trying to think what in my collection was similar to Tonka. And I just wanted to do that on camera with you. So now that we got all the swatches and lipstick comparisons out the way, let's talk. So the lipsticks. So here are the hyper mattes. So, and let me say this properly. This is the Prada Monochrome Hyper Matte Refillable Lipstick. Okay, let me give her just due and say the name right. So let me just grab one. So this is, all the boxes look similar. So this is what the box will look like. And like I said, you know, just in general, packaging throughout the Prada line is kind of similar in that same mint green. You know, there's instructions everywhere. So everything is nicely labeled and gives great instructions. So here is a hyper matte, and so beautiful packaging. So with the hyper mattes, the main case is silver, but the rectangular Prada line here is gold, which the one big difference with the soft matte is it's all silver. So that's how you can distinguish between the two. Hyper mattes are going to have this gold band, and the soft matte is going to have silver all throughout. Okay, they all have magnetic closures. They all have that minty green in the inside. So all of that's the same. The refillable part, you can literally pull it out. So if you love the lipstick so much, you used it up, you want to mix and match. If you want to save some coins and just buy this, maybe just buy one full case and buy all the rest of the shades in the refillable component, you can do that, and then you can easily just snap it back in, and it's workable. Let me see. On its own, it's also workable, because Chanel tried to play us with one of them where if you bought just a refill by itself, if you didn't buy at least one case, it wouldn't work. But this one, even if you chose to just buy this, it does work on its own. But obviously, it's nice to at least have a case. I can't almost say I bought all cases because I want the full components. But I respect people who want to save some coins. If you buy this piece by itself, it's $40. If you buy the whole component, then it is $50. So that's the difference in price between the two. Yeah, because otherwise packaging is all gonna be similar. It's got a nice weight to it, so it does feel luxury. So packaging, at the top you got the triangle, the Prada, so you got that. In terms of the shades, because okay, I can distinguish the soft matte and the hyper mattes easily, but now I got 3 hyper mattes. If I mix them all up together, I don't know which one's which. I'm keeping my boxes, I'm going to tell you right now. But, so what you would have to do, because they're not going to put it on the outside component because, like I said, you can mix and match and refill. But on the refill itself, you're most likely not going to be able to see this. You're just going to have to trust me. There is the lettering right here, and then you will see it. So it does tell you, hold on one second. It does tell you the shape on the refill itself. So that is where you would have to look. I don't know. Right now, I'm keeping mine in the box. It's easy for me, much easier for me to read the shades at the top of the box. But if you don't want to keep the boxes, you can distinguish them by reading the shade on the refill, or obviously just twist it up and you'll see it once you twist it up. So that's basically, the rundown in terms of packaging and pricing. So I think since we got all of that out of the way, then we can just talk about what we think of the formula. So let's start with the Hyper Matte, because that's what I bought first. Because I'm someone who loves a good matte lipstick, even though lately I've been into much, comfortable lip oils and lip sheens and satin lipsticks, but I still do love a good matte. And so, when I heard the two formula, I was like, well, if I'm going matte, I want it matte. I want to make sure the pigmentation is all the way right. I didn't want to play around with my first Prada lipstick, so I went with the Hyper Matte first. And I went the ultimate, right? I did the ultraviolet. So I picked the darkest shade, the darkest, boldest shade that you could go with. And so that was the first one that I bought. Like I said, clearly I loved it, because here we are with 4. So one, and actually I'm going to pull out a different bullet, just because probably the newer one, you'll be able to appreciate this better. So in terms of like how it looks, so you can see there is a triangle at the top. This whole triangle motif is something that you see throughout all the Prada products. Somewhere the triangle motif pops up somewhere. So it's cute that they put this triangle. Now, in terms of using it, now let me go back to the ultraviolet. Sorry, I'm looking through all my lipstick because, like I said, it's hard to see which one's which one. I think when I first used the ultraviolet one, and you would see it in my Prada foundation video, I did go ahead and use the tip, that triangular tip at the top. So it's starting to, it doesn't have that sharp triangle that you're seeing on this one. And so why are you seeing that? So I did use the triangle, and I don't remember having a real problem. So if you have the triangles on this side, you can use it, and it was fine. I didn't really have a big problem with it. I know it might seem a little weird to be using a triangle shape, and it's a small triangle. I'm somebody with some full lips. But I have since then have been with my lipsticks, not using this side anymore. I have flipped it over to the other side. And so this is the side that I've been using on. Yeah, one, I have full lips, so I like the fact that here, if it'll feel more like a traditional bullet shape, and then I can get I can get a good swipe of the whole lip with it that way. And my other reason is because this side, I hope you can appreciate, this is the side that has the Prada embossing on it. I want this Prada embossing to last as long as possible. So I figure instead of me using the lipstick on this side, I was better off using it on the back side. I don't know. In my mind, I figured that would make the Prada embossing last longer. Because I think, obviously it's kind of cool to see. Hopefully you can appreciate the Prada embossing. So I've been using the back side. But I mean, hey, whichever way you want to do it, go for it. But yeah, I've been lately with all the lipsticks using the back side rather than forcing myself to use a little triangle tip. And then I get to maintain the triangle tip at the top, and like I said, and try to preserve that Prada motif as long as possible. So in terms of actually applying the lipstick, I haven't had an issue. But I know that might have been a concern for people seeing that little triangle at the top, like, is that gonna work on my lips? Especially if you're somebody with full lips, like myself. Okay, so we got to that point, just the application part of it. In terms of the formula, so I love obviously, I love it. So if you saw me wear the purple one in both the last 2 videos, you would have saw me in both videos. I wore the purple when I was doing my review. It was beautiful. I feel like I had beautiful opacity on my lips. And so I love the pigmentation, the opacity I got, especially for some of us of deeper complexions, our lips are also have some pigmentation to it. And so if you have a lipstick that doesn't provide a good opacity and a certain level of intensity of the pigmentation, and your own lips seep through, you might not get to appreciate the fullness of the color that you want. But no, this fantastic pigmentation level, a true matte in the whole sense of the word. And it did really last very well. I was like, with this, I could drink coffee And it's not transfer proof. So you would straight up see a traditional, as expected, my lipstick stain on the coffee cup. But on my lips, it wouldn't have been obvious that I was drinking anything. There was still a good amount of lipstick still on my lips. So there was no immediate like, oh my God, I got to touch up. I just drank something. No, I could drink my coffee in peace and not have any worries that I have to immediately retouch it. Now, you know, once I go to eat some real food, I go eat lunch. Okay, fine. Now if I'm eating some real food, yes, it's going to wear off, you know, particularly, you know, as all lipsticks in the center, and especially if you're going to wear such a bold purple lip, you know, you definitely want to reapply because you don't want, you know, the obviousness of the deep purple and your own lipstick tone. But I appreciate how well that it lasted, and the longevity, and just the formula. It's really good. And it feels velvety. I'm just swiping on my hand again, but it's like velvet. It just feels, it's that creamy velvety. You know how mattes are these days. You know, back in the day, mattes were a certain, you know, level. They used to be super dry and cracking and all that stuff. And nowadays, since the days of Lisa Eldridge and Gucci and others, now we have more of this creamy velvety matte formula. And so that's the same here. So it just feels like, oh, it feels nice on the lips. So I absolutely love it. Obviously, I love all the different shades. I'm just looking down again. So for me, you know, I love a good purple. It's just fun to have a nice bold lipstick. You know, I got in a mahogany, especially, you know, anybody can wear these, of course, but especially being a brown girl, you always need a good brown and different browns, and it's nice to have a warm. I have a lot of more cooler tone neutrals, but it's nice to have this nice warm chestnut brown. So this is like an easy one. I can just put on, and I have to really think about it too much, and it just looks beautiful on my skin tone. So if I just want a more neutral to warm lipstick, that's a go-to. And then, you know, who doesn't want a good red? Like this is a kind of red that I love. It has a berry undertone to it. So it's just a real, just classic. So these were just great, you know, classic shades that I enjoyed all three shades. So the Hyper Matte, I love them. Okay, so now you're wondering, well, what about the Soft Matte? How does that compare? Okay, and before I get into my thoughts about the Soft Matte formulation, I do actually want to take this opportunity to shout out my girl, Brie Moore. She is another beauty content creator here on YouTube and Instagram that I follow. I'll give her description below. But the reason why I bring her up, she's a great resource because she reviews luxury makeup, and she lives in Portugal, which is great because she lives in Europe. She actually gets some of the products before they land here in the US, so she can preview stuff before, you know, so I get a preview before, you know, I get, you know, when I'm trying to make my choice of my purchases. And, you know, she's a little bit lighter than me, but it's good to see someone of a deeper skin tone to provide their opinion and reviews. So the reason why I'm bringing her up is because her videos actually helped me as I was trying to pick out the shades. You know, I picked the purple on my own. You know, I just love purple. And as I was trying to pick out what shades to pick next, because they're just so beautiful. There's so many shades and they're so beautiful. And I was trying to pick out what to pick. The berry shade, and I know I've been saying Notte. I think it's actually Notte. I'm guessing Italian, so Notte. And I know I'm still saying it with a horrible accent, so please forgive me. But anyway, I saw it on her, gorgeous. I was like, okay, gonna get it. I saw this shade on her, Tonka, and I was like, ooh, that's beautiful. Getting it. I forget if she had the mahogany shade or not. She might have. But either way, her videos did help to inform me as I was trying to make a decision what shades to get. She's probably responsible for me buying as many. Maybe on my own I would have only gotten two or three and not four, but I'm actually thankful because I love all four shades. Okay, back to this. I just had to give her a shout out because she really was impactful on my choices, and I do want to support other content creators. So, all right, so like I said, you know, just the packaging, all silver. This shade, first let's just talk about this shade. and I know you see it on my lips, but I don't care. I'm just putting it here too. I love this shade. Ah, I'm in love with this shade, okay? You know, especially as a woman of color, it can be hard if you're a person of color to get a pink lipstick that looks good on us. It can be really tricky because if you get the wrong shade and if you don't apply it correctly, you can be out here looking like, I'm sorry, looking like a crackhead, looking like a clown. You don't want to be out here looking like Boo Boo the Clown. Not cute, okay? So a lot of times, you know, either sometimes, hey, you might just say, I'm going to forego, I'm not going that pink, that light. Or if you were like, no, I'm going to make this work, well, what do we have to do? We need a brown liner. You might even need a gloss to just help the lips come together and still look natural. And so a lot of times for a pink to look good on us, we have to zhuzh it up. We have to, you know, and I'm willing to I love makeup enough that, you know, there are times I'm willing to put in the work because it's worth it. You know, sometimes it's cute to have that light pink in the center and I just do an ombre effect and ooh and all this stuff. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes we don't want to work. I just want to put a lipstick and go, this one, no liner. I can just put it on, no liner, and I don't have to think about it. And out, reapply, and I don't have to worry about, oh, is it, okay. You know, like certain pinks, I have to make sure I got to look in the mirror. I got to make sure if I have to reapply, well, it's reapplying with the liner as well. I can't just get away with just apply and go. This is one that I can. So this is a pink shade that is brown girl friendly. She's deep enough, like I said, so it looks beautiful on our skin tone. It has that like berry mauve undertone, which once again tends to work better for those of us of deeper skin tone. So this is just a pink lipstick that is just, I find delicious. I feel like a blushing bride. Like this would be great for weddings, but I'm wearing this all the time. But you know what I mean? Like this is just, so number one, I'm just loving the shade. Okay, but now you want to know, how does the formula? We know you know I love the hyper mattes. Do I love the formula as much as the hyper mattes? What's the difference? Why even distinguish soft matte versus hyper matte? Well, the two biggest things, and I was showing you when I was swiping. So the one thing is supposed to be about the intensity. You know what? Let's do, I think this might be Notte. So I was trying to, but let's do one swipe. Sorry, you know, like rolling veins, and this is like a bad place to do, but hopefully you'll appreciate it. And it's not a wide enough swipe, but the big thing with the hyper matte is that on one swipe, it is definitely, it is more saturated, more pigmented than the soft matte. So that's the biggest difference. But what I would say is, trying to just get in focus, you can build it up and still get a very a good level of pigmentation. So I love this pigmentation as far as I'm concerned. I don't feel like, oh my God, it's too sheer or anything like that. And I think people, you know, there are people who would appreciate that. You know, there's those of us, and I'm here for both camps, so I'm not even against anything. But there's those of us that want to make sure on that first swipe, I want full pigmentation. Don't play with me. Give it to me from the start. Especially a lot of us, like I said, of deeper skin tones. If we got hyper-pigmented lips, I need the pigmentation from the start. Don't play no game. Swipe. Give it to me, right? And then those of us who might want a softer lip look, might want it to be more of a stain, or want to have the versatility that I could do one swipe and it be more of a lighter, natural kind of a level of pigmentation. And then later on, it's like, you know what? Now I want it on full on, and then you can do a couple more swipes and then you can build up the intensity. So I do appreciate that you can have it be nice and soft, or you can like build it up to a higher intensity. So I appreciate that, actually, of the soft matte formula. And especially like for me, like this particular shade, you know, I think especially if you're going for more of like pinky nudes, you know, a lot of times, sometimes actually It's kind of nice when it's a little bit more of a softer finish, and it's just more natural. You know, like that ultraviolet color. If you're gonna come in like that dark purple, well then you do need to be high in impact pigmentation and intensity from the get-go, because you can't be wearing no sloppy, patchy purple lipstick. That ain't gonna fly. And you know, and I was looking at the shades, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was just looking at all the color shades. I do not believe they are, for both formulations, they have their own distinctive shades. There are no repeats. When I was quickly looking, I didn't see any similar names, color name shades for either formulation. So whatever you're getting from each one is distinct. And I do feel generally, I think the soft mattes, they had a lot of more, just in general, maybe softer shades. And then the hyper mattes also, just in terms of color stories, had a few more bolder colors. And that makes sense. Bolder colors, you know, we want a more pigmentation, and then more softer nudes, you might appreciate a softer formulation. So there's no, you can't say I want Tonka in the hyper matte. You can't say I want ultraviolet in the soft matte. So that's one thing between the two. They have at the current moment their own distinctive shades. You know, maybe in the future, if things go well, they will make the shades in the opposite formulations, but at the moment it looks like there are distinctive shades for the distinctive formulas. But I'm actually, like I said, I'm happy to have both. So that's the first thing. The other thing, okay, so in terms of how it feels, so you know, when it comes to matte, not everybody's into matte, right? And what's the main reason? Because they can feel very dry. You know, we love the pigmentation, but not everybody's comfortable with how dry matte lipsticks tend to be. Now, I'm comfortable. Generally speaking, I don't have problems wearing matte lipstick. I'm not one who's averse to mattes in general, but I know some people are. But what I do tend to do when I'm wearing mattes usually is that I will put a clear lip balm. In the last you know, in the demo vids, you probably were noticing, like I told you, in between I was putting a Dior lip balm. So a lot of times I'll use a Dior or a Pat McGrath lip balm. You don't have to be bougie like me and wear luxury lip balms. You can use some drugstore, so don't worry about that. But a lot of times in the morning, I will first, as I'm doing my makeup, I will put a lip balm on my lips, and then you know, when I'm done with my lipstick look, then I'll apply the matte lipstick. So it allows it to be comfortable for me and get me through the day. I'll go to work. Now, as the day goes on, you eat, you go to reapply. You don't have lip balm anymore. You go to reapply, and now you've worked 8 hours, 10 hours. It can be tough to still, you know, no matter how good of a formulation it is, usually by the end of the workday, it's going to feel a little dry, a little bit uncomfortable, even for me. And so usually I think I've spoken in one of my videos, like I keep Chanel lip balms at work. Oh yeah, like whether it be Prada, Lisa Eldridge, Gucci, I don't care. If I have a matte lipstick, usually by the end of the workday, I'm taking one of my lip balms at work and applying it on top, or I might even be adding straight up a lip gloss. I know, obviously with the lip gloss in particular, it's going to really change the formulation from matte to more of a satin look. But by that time of day, I don't care. I just want to be comfortable. So that's one thing about matte lipsticks. By the end of the day, I'm ready to put some lip balm. I need some moisture back into my lips. This one. Now, I have not actually put a lip balm. I haven't. I've been wearing this one, Sans lip balm. And actually, I feel fine. I wore it all day yesterday for work. I didn't have that itch to put a lip balm or lip gloss. I wore the whole day. No lip balm today. I didn't put a lip balm. And I feel fine. And I don't want to act like this is, I do not want to act like this has a level of moisture of a satin lipstick. It's still a matte. So there's, you know, there's always going to be a certain level of dryness, but I don't have that itch that I'm so uncomfortable that I need a lip balm. So I'm actually fine wearing this all day without a lip balm. Where the hyper mattes, I'm comfortable with them, but I do still tend to at some point want to have a little lip balm on, where this one I can actually get away without a lip balm. So for those who are truly averse to matte lipstick but do want to give this lipstick a try, who like the look of mattes, but you know, tend to not like the feel of matte lipstick, then I would suggest using the soft matte. I think they are a little bit more comfortable to wear. And yeah, the intensity might not be quite the level of the hyper mattes, but they're buildable. I still think there is a good amount of pigmentation with that. But if you are someone who does not have a problem with matte and who really loves a truly, truly saturated lipstick, then go for the hyper mattes. You know, they're both very long lasting. But yeah, that hyper matte, oh, it has a punch, it has a longevity. They both last long, but yeah, you know, those are the pros and cons of both. So I actually love both. I'm happy to have both. So for me, it's more actually of what shade do I want. If there's a certain shade that's in hyper matte that I'm really loving, then I'm going to get that hyper matte. And if there is a nice shade in the soft matte, I'm going to go for the soft matte. I'm down for both. And like I said, I actually appreciate, even though I love the hyper matte, I bought 3 of them, love them, will continue to use them. I actually really appreciate actually the comfortability of the soft matte while still giving me some great pigmentation. Yeah, I'm really loving the formula. If you start asking me, where do I rank these? You know, like I don't want to, you know, Lisa Eldridge is, you know, always up there, so I don't want to touch her because she's great, but I don't know, at least this might be bumping up to second because, yeah, I love this formulation. I really do. So I think it's worth giving it a try. I know it ain't cheap, but if you see a shade that you like, I say go for it. All right? Okay, well, I think that will conclude our review of not only Prada lipstick, but we're going to take a little break. You know, we've done the Prada trilogy foundation. We have done eyeshadow. We've done lipstick. I've been wearing the perfume. I have been all Prada all day. If you're curious, I don't have a foundation. I have Chanel foundation and the Mauve Glacé blush from the winter collection. I want to be glowing today. Yeah, no highlight, just Chanel blush. I have Blend Bunny eyeshadow on the eyes. If you're watching this the day that I'm posting it and you're on Instagram, Blend Bunny is having an amazing giveaway. I know we're talking about Prada, but they're having an amazing giveaway where they're giving out like the whole collection. Just saying, check them out on Instagram. But anyway, I'm gonna take a little break from the Prada. So be on the lookout to see what's next that's gonna enter my collection. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. And please follow me on Instagram, Daps_makeup. That's where I'm the most active. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.